What's going on, boys and girls? Today is video one in a little series that I'm going to be doing for the next few weeks where I'm going to try to explain to you the basics of how to exercise on your own. Just how to put a workout routine together. It's easy to get overwhelmed. Don't get overwhelmed. Anybody can learn how to do this. But with that said, if anything gets confusing, overwhelmed, write me. I will answer any of your questions. Pause the video, come back to it later. Write things down. Keep things simple. I'm going to just try to show you the basics, and here we go. First things first is to make sure that you are safe to exercise. If you have any medical concerns in the beginning, make sure to consult with a doctor before you begin. If maybe you're really overweight or it's been a long time since you've exercised, you've got injuries, you've had recent surgeries, you've been sick, you're on a lot of medications, you probably want to consult with a doctor first. Be smart, be safe. Anybody can overdo it. With that said, say you get going and you start experiencing pain, legit pain. Pain is something you want to avoid. Go get that checked out. But do understand that exercising is supposed to be challenging and it's going to be a little uncomfortable, but there's a big difference between being uncomfortable and pain. Avoid pain. Next, and this one's an important one, is to figure out what your goals are. And it may just be one goal, it may be a whole bunch of goals. It may all change over time. All of it's okay. Just think about it and be clear about what it is that you want and understand why you want it. A lot of people are exercising for a reason. A lot of people, it may be health. They want to feel better. You want to be healthier. You may want to look better. Maybe you want to lose some body fat. You may want to gain some muscle. You may want to be better at a physical activity. It could be one of these, all of these, or something completely different. Just be clear about what it is that you want. Real quick, before I move on, and while we're talking about goals, I want to talk quickly about fat loss and food. I'm going to talk more about this later, but realistically, I understand that most people are interested in losing some body fat, and that is okay. When it comes to exercise, diet and exercise go hand in hand. They are best friends. But when it comes to fat loss, nothing matters more than what you're eating and what you're drinking, essentially your diet and nutrition. You've got to eat and drink fewer calories than you're doing right now. Exercise, we all know, burns calories. It helps with fat loss. But when it comes to fat loss, nothing matters more than lowering your calories and eating and drinking less food. When it comes to your health, nothing matters more than what it is you're eating. So if you want to improve your health, over time, you've got to actually improve what it is you're eating. But when it comes to fat loss, focus on your diet and make sure you are eating and drinking fewer calories than you are right now. Okay, so I'm back to talking about exercise now. Now is probably a good time for me to do an overview of exercise because I want to make sure that we're on the same page. When anybody talks about exercise, including me, it could mean a lot of different things because there are a lot of different types of exercise. But historically, there are two major types of exercise that I want you to understand. On one side, we have what is called cardio. Most people have heard of that. It used to be called sometimes aerobic training or endurance training. When you're talking about athletes, they often call it conditioning. That's over here. On the other side, we have strength training. Sometimes it's called resistance training. Sometimes people do body weight exercises like push-ups, pull-ups, and lunges. Sometimes people lift weights. Sometimes people use other equipment. I'm going to talk more about that later. But that is strength training. They're both exercise. There's a lot of stuff that's in the middle that's a little of both. But both of these, they're both good for us. They both do a lot of the same things. They both burn calories. It's all exercise. But there are two major types. When we're doing strength training, our primary objective is to get stronger. We are targeting the muscles, the bones, the tendons, the ligaments. It does a lot of things, but getting stronger is our primary objective. When you do these things, typically you're flexing your body, flexing all the muscles in your body in a way that is restricting blood flow. It restricts it more than on the other side. On the other side over here, we have cardio training, endurance training. When we do this, we're targeting the heart, the lungs, the blood vessels, moving blood around. When we do this, our goal is to allow blood to flow freely through the body. So you see this one, blood is flowing freely. It's aerobic. Over here is anaerobic, and we are doing more of restricting blood flow. They're both very different. You can do a lot of stuff in the middle, and we're going to shoot for some of that later on. But I want you to understand from the beginning that there are two major types of exercise. So now what? I talked about cardio and I talked about strength training. You're probably confused. You're wondering which one should you be doing? Which one is better? Look, don't worry about all that right now. They're both important. We're going to do a little bit of both. It's not going to be complicated. A lot of people get in their head that one is better than the other. I didn't tell all that to you to confuse you or complicate things. It's going to be more important later on that you understand the distinctions. But right now, they both do a lot of the same things. They're both important. We're going to do things in a way, I'm going to talk about this in a minute. They're going to kind of blend both. But don't worry about it. A lot of people that are trying to lose body fat think that cardio is better. It's not. They both burn calories. They're both useful for that. They're useful for a lot of things. So don't worry about that. The next thing I want you to worry about and think about is, this is a question that I would hope that you would ask me, is how many days a week should you be exercising? Any exercise. And there could be a lot of answers to this question. I'm just going to say if you're a beginner or it's been a while since you've exercised, I want you to start off with 2 days a week. Those 2 days a week, you're going to be basically doing strength training. They're going to be short, but because you're a beginner or because it's been a while, maybe you're out of shape, that strength training is also going to be like doing cardio. So you're going to get a little bit of both. Could you do more? Yes, you could do more, but more is not always better. Better is better. Always focus on the quality. Don't worry about the quantity, how much. Worry about what you're doing and make it good. But yes, people ask me all the time, how much do I exercise? I've been exercising since I was 12 for almost 40 years. I exercise every day a week. But exercising every day a week is not something that people need to do necessarily. And if you do it like I do, you can't go hard every day or it leads to problems. I have harder days and I have very easy days. And I rotate that all the time to avoid problems, avoid injury and all that. But in the beginning, 2 days a week can get a lot done. It's not about how much. So if you're a beginner, I want you to start with 2 days a week. Will you do more in the future? You could. You might want to. You could move up to 3 days a week. How much should you do at strength training and cardio? Don't worry about all that right now. I'll just say they're both pretty even. Normally, people do 1, 2, or 3 days a week of strength training, and on the other days, you do cardio. There is a way that you can blend both. So there's a lot of different options. But right now, don't worry about all that. We're going to put it all together as we move along. So stay tuned. So now let's talk about how long the workouts are going to be. I like 30 minutes. It doesn't sound like much, but if you do it in the right way, it's plenty. It's enough. Could you do more? Yes. Could you do less? Yes. But in my experience, 30 minutes per workout is the sweet spot, and that's what I want you to shoot for. Okay, so now hopefully you have an idea of how many days a week you're going to try to exercise and how long the workout's going to be. So now you need to figure out what days you're actually going to exercise on, and it needs to fit in your schedule, the schedule you'll have right now. Of course, things may change. You may pick 2 days and you may have to change them. That's okay. The goal is to keep things simple, make things easy. I highly recommend picking 2 days and sticking to those 2 days. You can always change them later if you need to, but try to pick 2 days and dedicate to those for like 3 months. See how it works out. Try to pick the same time of the day. You've got to think about all the things in your schedule. Are you going to have to travel? Are you staying home, changing clothes, taking a shower, eating? Do you have kids, distractions? Whatever it is, think about your schedule, pick your days, write them down, and plan to stick to them. So now the next thing to figure out is what time of day. So hopefully you've picked out your days, how many ever days that is. I recommend choosing the same time of the day to exercise every day that you're going to exercise. It's really important. It may not work with your schedule, but that's a really good idea. It's easy to remember. You get into the habit of it. Another thing too is, historically, doing things earlier in the day typically works out better for most people because you have more energy. There's less likely that something's going to get in the way and you get busy. But that doesn't work for a lot of people's schedule, and it's okay. It doesn't really matter what days of the week or what time of day that you exercise. It just matters that you do. So pick a time, pick the days, write it down, and dedicate to it. Make sure it works with your schedule. So now it's time to figure out where you're going to exercise. This one is really important. Are you going to exercise at home? Or are you going to exercise away from home? Let me just say right now, this one is really important. You want to make this easy, make it simple. If you make this one complicated and high maintenance, it's going to cause problems for everything. So keep this one really simple. I highly recommend, if you can, to learn to exercise at home where you live. If you can do that, it'll give you confidence to exercise anytime, anywhere for the rest of your life. But that may not be an option. If it's not an option, it's okay. Just try to make it convenient and, most importantly, safe. You want to make sure that you're not going to break anything and that nothing's going to break you. So now some other things to consider. And these may not sound important, but they can be. For example, clothes. What are you going to wear? It's important that you're comfortable. And I'm talking about from your shoes to the clothes you choose to wear. If you have hair, how you're going to wear your hair. Things should be ideally low maintenance, but you should feel comfortable. Are you going to exercise in a hot environment? If you're going to do that, you need to dress appropriately, especially if you're trying to avoid having to change clothes, take showers, and get stinky. If it's cold outside or wherever you're going, you need to dress appropriately for that. If it's going to be a little bit of both or rainy, you need to have layers. If you're going to bring your phone, how are you going to wear your phone? If you're going to have a heart rate monitor, a music, how are you going to wear all that? These are things to consider, and they're important. But the most important thing is you should be comfortable. Comfortable is important. I personally am comfortable wearing old kind of junky clothes. I don't like long shorts because they get hung on my knees when I squat. So I wear short shorts and people probably make fun of me. I could care less. But you dress so that you are comfortable. But you also want to dress in a way that you feel confident. It's important to be confident. And how you do that, that's up to you. But make sure you dress in a way that's confident. Compliment your body style, but you do it in a way that makes you feel like you don't give a damn about what anybody else thinks. That's important. Even when you're at home, it's important. But also importantly, you want to make all this stuff low maintenance. Look, I worked at a public gym years ago. It was really popular. A lot of people came to it. I saw people that exercised and some were confident and some weren't. The people that were confident were not always young and supermodels either. How you dress, it has a lot to do with how well you'll succeed in the future. So do what you need to do with that, but also consider, are you going to listen to music? Music for me is a huge motivator. I like headphones some days. Some days when I'm at home, I have a stereo on. Maybe you don't want music, but that's something to consider. If you're going to use music, maybe choose what you're going to listen to and don't just let it be random. Maybe you like random, but figure these things out. Use all of these things to your advantage. If you're listening to music you like, you're in an environment you like the clothes that you have on, you like all these things, you're doing exercises you like, you're going to be more confident. You're more likely to come and exercise instead of cancel and skip the day. Set yourself up for success. And the biggest part of this is everything needs to be simple and easy. Now, I've covered a lot today, so I'm going to stop here. I'm going to talk more about it in the next video. Final thoughts. The key for all this is consistency. You need to fit things into your schedule. Everything that you do needs to be easy, low maintenance, and it needs to fit your life and your lifestyle. So don't complicate anything. Make everything easy. Look forward to this. Have confidence. You can do this. Next time, we're going to talk more about the exercise. I know people want to know the specifics. I'm going to try to go over everything that I think you need to know, but there's a lot of different ways to do this. This is just my way, but don't feel like you have to do things my way. I want you to customize everything that you do so that it fits your life, your schedule, and you're happy with it. My goal for you is to exercise into the future till the day you die. I don't want to discourage you. I want to encourage you. And a lot of people start exercise and they stop. Don't do that. Start slow and easy. Easy. If you know that you can't do something, why would you do it? Do things that you know with 100% confidence that you can do and consistently do, and you'll be successful. The key is to try to get through a year. Can you get through a year doing what you said you're going to do schedule-wise? You may have to modify things, but try to get through the first year. If you get through that, you can always do more. You can even do less. But just try to get through a year. That's going to be the goal.